Good morning, this is Tony Shirley. I'm part of Team Dynamic Disc, and this is in my bag. We're going to start off today with our putters. I have a BT Medium Shield. I've been throwing them for about 3.5, 4 years and absolutely love them. They are great for off the tee box. They are great for up shots. And when it comes to putting, it's hard to beat them because they're very dependable. They do exactly what you want them to do. They're not affected by the wind near as much as a more floaty putter. Absolutely love these putters. Give them a shot. Then we're going to go to our upshot discs. My slammers are absolutely the disc of choice. I would throw a slammer in headwinds, tailwinds, crosswinds. It does not matter. They will hold that line no matter what. Off the tee box, I like using my Lucid slammer. That thing is absolutely stable. If you hit a tree with it, it don't matter. It's gonna hold its line. The second one I use is the Classic Blend slammer. This thing is not quite as stable as the Lucid, but it is intensely dependable disc. I absolutely love this thing. Okay, now we're going to go to our mid-ranges. For straight shots, I use the Lucid Truth, EMAC Truth. That thing is absolutely on a line, straight line, no matter what. Love them, love them, love them. Then we're going to go to our my understable disc would end up being the Suspect. The Fusion Suspect is, to me, some people use them for overstable approach shots. I like to throw them for understable because you throw it hard, it's going to hold a nice, smooth turnover, and it's going to go right where you want it to go. It's not one that'll dump. It'll just go out there and do what you want it to do. Then I've got the Fusion Verdict. I would use this in moderate headwinds, and it tends to go really straight. If you get a little bit too much wind, you could actually turn it a little bit, but it's got a good solid finish at the end. That's what I do love about the Verdict. We have the new one is the Westside Gatekeeper. This thing is actually a go-between between the Verdict and the Fuji. I am a huge fan of both of these discs. The Fuji tends to be a little more stable and it'll hold the line better whenever you need that hyzer run. But the Gatekeeper is one it's really, really close to what the EMAC Truth is, but it's a little more stable in my hand. So I really enjoy that thing. And then when it comes to your meat hook that you just need to go out there and make that turn, and you can get it to skip, you can get it to do anything. Throw a 200-foot hyzer with it, spike hyzer, it don't matter. This thing is going to do it. The Lucid Justice. This disc is absolutely phenomenal. It's been in my bag since I first got sponsored, and they come out this disc. This one disc has been in my bag. This is a Team Stamp Lucid Justice. Absolutely love this thing. Now we're going to go to our fairway drivers, overstable. I like the new prototype, the Pioneer, the Lucid Pioneer. This thing would be absolutely, well, it took over the felon spot in my bag, and I absolutely fell in love with it from jump start. It's really good for going out and throwing the skip hyzers. A big 300-foot spike hyzer, fantastic. I love that thing. For the one that I think is just a little bit, well, not quite as long, but it's got similar to the same flight, is the Dave Feldberg Spark. This thing is phenomenal. I've got a couple of good aces with it, and it's one of those things that, one of those discs that I don't think is ever going to come out of my bag. Then we're going to go to our straighter fairway drivers. The Opto Explorer, huge fan of that disc. It is really straight. It's one that you want to go out and you want to get into the tight line trees. That's the one I would go with, because you don't have to throw it really hard. It holds the line. You can get it to turn over. You can get it to hyzer, and you don't have to do too much in order to get it to do those. So really like the Explorer. And now we're going to go to one of my favorite discs that's came out this last year, and it's one that I've been waiting for a long time, and that's the Getaway. The Lucid Getaway is absolutely money. It's got that straight flight. You can get it to turn a little bit, but it's got that strong comeback at the end, and that is very, very crucial for me. Here in Texas, we got a lot of wind, and almost like it's not quite as bad as Kansas, but we get a lot of wind here, and you need something that's going to have that good solid finish on it. I love this one for the more straight shot. If I want, I could throw my Fusion one on a hyzer, and it'll hold that hyzer the whole way. This disc, I don't tend to throw them more than 320, 340 feet, but it's one that I know that when I throw it out there, it's going to hold that line good. Then it's going to finish strong at the end and check up for me. So big fan of the Getaway. That thing is a really fun disc to throw. Now we're going to go with our one of my all-time favorites, the Opto Culverin. This disc is for some, I don't know a whole lot of people that throw them, but the ones that do, I guarantee you won't get it out of their bag. It's got that, it's a little wider grip on it than the Explorer, but it tends to go further. I throw this one, I can throw it about 400 foot, and I can throw it on a line. Absolutely love this disc. When it gets broken in, you can throw it out and hyzer it, and you'll really enjoy this disc. Try it out, Culverin. Now we're going to go with another prototype, the Recoil. I was very, very surprised in the stability of this disc. Throw it out there really hard. You can get it to flatten out, turn over a slight, but at the end, it's got that hard comeback at the end. Really a big fan of this disc. It made a spot in my bag within the first couple of throws. I knew for sure it was going to be in my bag. Then we got the disc that Eric McCabe turned me on to a while back, the BioFusion Enforcer. This thing has got crazy distance to be what it is. I was not expecting the Enforcer, because when I threw the Lucid Enforcers, they're so overstable that I have to really try to crank it to get it to turn over and get any distance. But these BioFusions, once you get them broke in, you can throw these things as far as any disc in your bag. Absolutely love the BioFusion Enforcer. The Gladiator, big fan of that disc. It is, to me, I think it's a little more stable than the Recoil, and it's a very fast disc. I really like it. I wish that I could throw it more, but I've got so many great drivers in my bag right now. But when it comes to, let's say, 15, 20 mile an hour wind, and I need to get it to turn and make an anhyzer shot that you know it's not going to dump on you, but you could just throw the heck out of it and make it hold that line, it'll do well for you. Really like the Gladiator. Big fan of it too. And then your meat hook when it comes to your overstable driver. I've still got the very first one when they first came out, the Warhorse, prototype Warhorse. Been in my bag since the day I got it. And it will not come out, because when we need that day that it's just got insane wind, that's the one you want to go with. Absolutely love it. Really stable. It'll hold a hyzer line, and if you get into a monster headwind, you can throw it straight, and it'll come back really hard at the end. Another disc that I've been throwing for a long time is the the Lucid Defender. That disc is very, very stable, very dependable. I've got a little bit of a overlap in some of my overstable drivers, but I kind of like that, because then if something happens, you lose one of one mold, you've got something that you can go to and back it up with a different disc. Really, really a big fan of Defender. Nice and stable, 400-foot shots. It's one that you would not regret putting it in your bag. Now, when you want to talk about big distance, I'm 48 years old, so I don't tend to throw near as far as I used to. But when it comes to that shot that I need to get 450, and occasionally I can hit 475 to 500, I go with the Ballista Pro, that is. That disc is, when it first came out, I threw the regular Ballista and it was not quite stable enough to use for that kind of shot that you want to just absolutely smash it, turn it, get it to come back out. But this disc, the Ballista Pro, when they came out, to me, they set the scene on fire. Because I mean, I was telling people about these things the day they came out, and personally, I've sold a ton of them. Absolutely love this disc. I've got two of them. One's just a tiny bit less stable than the other one, but both of them are still very good, very strong discs, and you can get some serious distance out of them. Now we're going to go with our understable discs. One of them that came out this last release that I am a absolute huge fan of is the Vandal. The Vandal is, to me, a very controllable, a disc that you don't have to throw it really, really hard, but whenever you do throw it in the tightline woods, you can absolutely enjoy the flight of that disc. It will turn up, turn over, and then finish good at the end. And I am a huge fan of it because in the woods, I tend to slow my game down, and I don't want to have to throw as hard, and that Vandal absolutely fills that spot. And that's another disc I've really been waiting for, and I'm glad it's here. Now, if you want you got a tailwind, and a lot of guys throw different things when it comes to tailwinds, but me, I can back the power off on a Captain and throw that thing. It's one of the longest throwing discs in my bag. I have thrown several shots of this over 500 foot because you don't have to throw it hard. You can throw it 80% and get more out of it in a tailwind or a crosswind than you can out of a Ballista. And that kind of blew my mind because I wasn't expecting that. Huge fan of that disc. Now, if you've got don't have a very strong arm, and you can throw this thing for distance all day long, and it don't matter what kind of wind you've got. Absolutely love that, and I enjoyed turning some of the older guys on that don't throw as far and don't have as much arm speed. Turning them onto this disc right here was really fun to watch their face light up when they threw it. So really enjoy that. Now, I forgot that I've got a couple more approach discs. One more that I really, really like that'll probably never come out of my bag. It's the Burst Soft Harp. That disc is, whenever you need something to go out, hit the ground and stick, that's the disc to throw. It don't skip. When it hits the ground, it wants to just stick. And that right there is pivotal for me, because sometimes, like out here at Cedar Hill, you've got some of these, you don't have grass that's going to be able to check up in the grass. It's going to hit hard pan, or it's going to hit rocks or stumps, and it's going to want to skip off. This disc does not do that. Absolutely love that as approach disc. And my turnover disc is a putter. Turnover putter is the Keystone. Absolutely love this disc. It is good for throwing out throw it out flat. It'll come up, turn over, and hold that line all the way to the ground. Also, you can use this thing for longer putts. And that's what I like, because you don't have to overthrow something. It'll make it to where you don't have to jump putt. You can just throw it straight and really watch it fly well. I'm very impressed with this disc. The new lineup that they've had released this year, it really surprised me. They filled some spots in my bag that I really needed, and I'm glad to see that. Love my bag. This cart, your bag can sit on a little shelf here. You got all full access to all your pockets. You got storage spaces down here. I've got towels. I've got extra discs down here that really it's just multiples of some of these. And all in all, I'm very, very happy with what Dynamic Disc has put out. Dynamic Disc, Latitude 64, and Westside Disc, they've got everything you possibly could need. So that's about it. I do appreciate it, and have a great day.